Hello and welcome to the Weekend Edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. We have yet another classic show lined up for you. Both of our guests for this episode are back due to public demand, plus relevance to the times. One of them is a life coach, a psychologist with a background in psychiatry, and you loved her when she appeared on the show recently. Venus Kyengo is in the house.
Asante sana.
Now also in studio is a gentleman who fits the description of a conqueror. Last time he was on the show, we featured him with Raila Odinga Jr. When the legalization of weed debate had caught fire, maze. He has an inspirational story of a 27-year struggle with alcohol abuse. In fact, one of the things that stands out for me in his story is that he was introduced to his children in their 20s. Yet, they lived in the same house for all those years. As in my head, that goes like, Baba Junior, this is your son Junior, he's now in campus. Imagine that. Now, I have never made sense of that bit, but David Ogot is in the house. He'll tell us more about that in a bit. But first, schools have reopened and the Education CS, Professor Magoha, has been on the spot following the suggestion that children learn under trees to effect social distancing.
Should some of the teachers decide, because of social distancing, there's a large tree there are others there, that today, this larger classroom, we should go and have 2 classrooms in the morning outside. There's nothing wrong with it. There's more oxygen outside. The tree, which you people laugh at, removes carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and adds oxygen there in case you don't know.
Ha! Basically, tunaanza na kuchinjile methali ya mchumia juani hulia kivulini. Wanafunzi sasa wanataka kuchumia kivulini, alafu wakuje kulia huku kwa jua kali. Talk of the education system living up to its name. Now, following that announcement, Kenyans were uncontainable. And I think people should be fair to the government on this. Because you do realize that without sitting under a tree, Isaac Newton would never have discovered gravity. You should also note that if there is anyone who knows more about gravity, it's the Kenyan government. Or why do you think people say they have driven the economy to the ground? Why do you think Kenyan politicians are obsessed with things on the ground? Gravity. Now, following the suggestion to learn under trees, word is that the Education Ministry could soon be moved to the Ministry of Forestry. In fact, all forests could soon be gazetted as a group of schools. I'm an alumni of the Mau Water Catchment Group of Schools. But then again, what do Kenyans hope to achieve by making fun of CS Magoha over the suggestion to have students learn under a tree? That is literally throwing shade at trees. Now, one of the things that has angered Kenyans is the reports that over the COVID-19 period, Rwanda has built over 20,000 classrooms so that students can social distance. In Kenya, after the same period, COVID-19 period, the government of Kenya has trees to offer. Now, I don't know how people are missing the genius of what our CS did there. Instead of building schools, they did mathematics with nature. How many trees does a typical school compound in Kenya have? Say 100 trees in a school compound. That means one school can have up to 1,000 branches. Embu Urban Mugumo branch, Embu Urban Mahogany branch, Embu Urban Munyuamai branch, and so on. It's a good idea. I only hope that the Ministry of Health will not be tempted to borrow that idea. Imagine taking an ICU patient under a tree so that they can tap raw oxygen. Don't. Now, as much as I support the idea of learning under a tree, I'm so concerned about losing our culture. I'm here to confirm the situation at Embu Urban Primary School where I went to. I remember people used to be punished if caught peeping outside the classroom. Ukichungulia nje darasa, kesi. If learning is taken outside, it means people will be learning in a crime scene. In other news, Mombasa residents are now requesting the government to put some shade over the newly built 1.2-kilometer floating bridge in Likoni, claiming that the sun is too hot. In response, the government has said that it is no longer taking views on the Building Bridges initiative. I think the government could have taken action, but they spoiled it by the mention of hot and bridge in the same sentence. To the government, that sounded like a tweet from IEBC, banning bridges. Now, as this festive season is winding up, the year is still young and people are still nursing holiday hangovers and maybe real hangovers from drinking. Because 2020 was truly a drinking year, judging from the party songs released despite bars being closed for a major part of the year. Now, some of the biggest hit songs from 2020 are alcohol related. Ukianza na lewa, sijui pewa, watoto na pombe, and the demand for alcohol music was so high that Kenyans pulled this one from the archives.
Nani wapiga umayowe ni walevi, nani wenye huzuni ni walevi, nani wenye ugomvi ni walevi, nani wenye macho mekundu wote ni walevi.
Since when did having red eyes become a sin? Wenye macho mekundu wote ni walevi. Great song, but there's a lot of inaccuracies in the lyrics. To start with, wenye kupiga mayowe sio walevi, wanaitwa Sailors Gang. But come to think of it, unajua unaweza sema pia Sailors Gang ni walevi, other than hiyo nduru. Miracle Baby, unajitetea ukiwa upande gani? Now the history of Kenyans and alcohol is very rich. Our reporter Kenyanjui has done several stories on alcohol, and this one from Kabete being one of the highlights that raises the question of just how much do people love alcohol.
Reports reaching guesswork are that this was prompted by fatalities caused by alcohol in the area and the rate at which men in Kabete were practicing drunkardness. For example, this gentleman who was spotted staggering around the same coordinates for hours, his head hanging from behind, called it an actual hangover, but he was not falling. When his fellow drunkards were consulted, walisema amebakisha chupa moja ndio aweze kuanguka. Chupa ikaletwa, lakini akaamua kumaintain.
Just how much do people love alcohol? Now, in March 2016, Nairobi News carried a story, an article titled "Drama as Woman Locks Herself Inside Car to Avoid Alcohol Test." It's an interesting read in that the lady refused to unlock the car, that the police had to tow the car with her sitting comfortably inside to Kilimani police station. I believe that this was the first time police walishika mlevi juu amekataa kutoa lock. Now, while researching this topic, I googled ingredients za kutengeneza beer. And I started with beer because, according to statistics, it is the world's third most popular beverage after water and tea. Beer could have been number 2 on that list, if not for Edgar Obare and his tea. Now, the ingredients listed to make beer included wheat, maize, and rice. In fact, I think now it makes sense why Tanzania, rice, ndio president. Rice, ndio president. And come to think of it, I think alcohol is a leading concept in Africa. It's a leader in Africa. Alcohol is a leader in Africa. Tanzania, ndio hiyo pombe ni rais. Uganda, ndio hao tumesikia pombe anaweza kuwa rais. Now, according to this picture, in Kenya, pombe inaweza kuwa ndani ya rais. Now, maize as an ingredient is where I respected the creativity of alcohol lovers. Someone actually looked at maize and saw the potential to get high. Mahindi. How do you even come up with that? Now, as much as I understand why some people pass out after eating ugali, getting high on maize does not seem like such an obvious idea. Now, to give you an impression of how much people love alcohol, you must remember this video of Kenyans threatening to seek other alternatives after bars were closed due to COVID-19.
Na hivyo mnasema ati sanitizer ati inakunyagwa. Si tunakunywa. Na tunakunywa hiyo kibuyu tukiwa watatu.
Unakunywa kwa nini?
Kwa sababu ina taste kama pombe. Kwa sababu pombe ilifungwa kwa kilabu. Sasa tunaonelea sasa tukunywe hiyo.
Now, maybe the drinking of sanitizers would explain the stereotype that drunkards have a clean heart. Now, and that's not all. We could go on and on about videos about people na walevi, but this episode is about what we get wrong about alcohol and alcoholism. You have an idea of how authorities deal with drunk people. It is treated as a crime. However, I'm not sure if people in general are well informed of the status of alcoholism as a disease. Now, according to statistics, alcohol kills over 2.5 million people worldwide every year. That's still over 500,000 more than the people the world lost to COVID-19 in 2020. Now, on this episode, we have invited David Ogot and Venus Kyengo to help us break down the options on the other end of this short commercial break. Both are experts in the field of alcoholism and addiction. Wait till you hear David's take on rehabilitation centers. Do they help? You'll find out. And wait till you hear Venus's ideas on the application on psychology to treat alcoholism. See you guys in a bit. Welcome back to the weekend edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. Our guests wa leo ni friends of the show, na leo tunataka kuongelea mambo ya alcoholism. Kuna watu najua sana wana struggle na pombe, ungependa kuacha ama you would love to drink professionally. Our guest combination wa leo are the best for that. Venus Kyengo was here very recently. Karibu tena.
Asante sana.
Alafu David Ogot alikuwa na sisi tukiongelea conversation ya legalize weed when we hosted him pamoja na Raila Jr. Shout out to him. Karibu sana David.
Asante.
Kwa mara ya pili.
Asante.
Nimekuwa napigia Venus story yako, alafu I got mixed up. Every time I get to introduce you when we are doing a show, naanzanga na story ya you being introduced to your kids in the wakiwa watu wazima. Maybe unaweza ambia watu story yako leo.
Okay, in a nutshell, nilianza pombe na sigara first form because I could not talk to girls. Sasa nikadanganywa, girls like tough guys who break the rules, who smoke cigarettes in this case, because that was a suspension immediate. Ukipatikana unanuka fegi ama pombe, straight, just go and park, go and collect your suspension thing. Hakuna ya kutetea 2 weeks unarudi na wazazi. I was in Lenana boarding. So you go out, some of my friends are already smoking and drinking alcohol. Me, I'm saying, sasa we are there, mimi niko na soda yangu. Them they are smoking, they are drinking. Places like Nairobi Cinema, all these Kenya Cinema, there used to be bar downstairs, movie place upstairs. So movie ni at 3 o'clock, jioni munaenda bash. So kwanza unapeleka dem lunch. So my friends are talking to chicks are laughing. Nini. Mimi kuulizwa na wewe, whatever I'd panga to say inapotea.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, this became so much stress that before going to Form 2, nikakazana na pombe ya mzee. He had a cabinet kwa nyumba. Pombe yake na wageni. Pilsner. Na kunywa na tapika, the taste ni mbaya, nini. But by the time I went to Form 2, I could drink. Smoking I had already started in the field because tulikuwa tunajificha kwa field. Yes. Cigarette moja hata watu 10. Puff, those stories. So the first time we went out and I have my cigarette and my pombe, na nikaulizwa na wewe, the stories nilitoa, mademu wanacheka, even chicks from the next table, they were come, nikaambia Jesus, thank you, problem. So
for the wine.
So that's how I started.
Yes.
So ikaenda, now remember the wall and the tree.
Yes.
Now it is who can smoke more,
yes,
who can drink more. Jamana kunywa, so mini late kama, these guys have already started Form 1. Mini late kama, lakini when I went back now, I could drink 2 beers. And I even liked the taste. Now some guys, wale walianza mapema, 1 beer beyond, ni shida, staggering na nini. Mi nimeanza late, but 2 beers. In a very short time, niko 3 beers. Then 4 beers. Yani now what I was feeling with the 2, I need 3, then 4, then 5. I started drinking when beer was 1 shilling and something.
Ow.
Ni hamuna bahati.
So, just before he continues,
Wow.
Venus from a background of psychiatry. Ukisikia mtu anasema unakunywa pombe, alafu the reactions kama puking and everything. What is that thing that pushes someone to do it again despite that bad experience?
We are all different. And like I told you last time, Kingori, our genetic makeup, kuna wale wako predisposed. For example, kama your dad used to drink, ukiangalia, ukienda nyuma uangalie grandfather, uangalie hizo tabia, utakuta by the way every nini kuna kwa tuna mtu anakunywa. So it shows you're predisposed kukunywa. And then with that comes high tolerant levels. For example, like wewe sasa tuseme uko doctorate. Okay, now at least you reformed there. But on that level tukikaa na wewe ukikunywa bia moja na nikunywe bia moja, mimi ndio nitapika nini, cause my body is not used to alcohol. But for you, you'll need like maybe 20. So there comes the difference. Kuna watu wanakuangana hiyo, let me call it stamina ya alcohol. Unakana mtu, by the way, ndio musemanga self awareness is very important. Unakunywa hiyo moja, you're sick, you know, but yeye 20, 30 na bado amestand.
Bado ako sawa.
Bado ako sawa. And back to his story. I like where you've started from because there was a root cause. Why do people drink? Kuna kuanga na shida. And a lot of the people I see coming in for, therapy, unakuta ni dem alirepiwa. Hajawahi ongea na mtu. Inamkula ndani. And just like him he said, alikuwa na his trigger was girls. So huyo dem akiona chali anasikia vibaya sana because ana relate chali na ule chali mwenye alimrape. But you see, we are human beings and we have emotions. So unaanza kujiuliza, how do I sort this thing? Maybe nimelia for long. Unatafuta kitu yenye ita alter your mind state. So what I'm trying to say is, people drink, people abuse drugs for very many reasons. But the key thing is, most of these drugs are painkillers. So it's sort of like ni kunumb a certain pain that you're going through.
Okay.
We all have stories.
Okay.
We all have challenges. And it just depends on how you're able to deal with your life issues. So ukikuta mtu anakuja na kuambia, by the way, nilirepiwa, that's already a trigger on its own. He talked about his dad's cabinet. Monkey do monkey. So nimeona budangu anakunywa, he's my mentor. Ebu acha nisikiaje juu akikunywa hii pombe anakanga, yani all of a sudden anatoka from being a harsh person anakuwa very happy. So it's very easy for our children to want to try based on what they see us doing. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sawa. Dave, Venus believes in solving the problem from a science perspective. Kuja tukuongeleshe kidogo. We touch the nerves. We weigh your hormones. Kuna ingine inaitwa dopamine, kuna ingine inaitwa serotonin, kuna zingine, kuna hormones. Amenionyesha mpaka hormones za mapenzi. So kuna hormone ya ulevi. Kuna inaitwaje? Kuna buttons za hizi mavitu. But you yourself, process yako ilikuwa different. Ulienda rehab mara kama zote. Ulikunywa for 27 years.
No.
This means he sustained the employment of a few people working for alcohol companies.
27.
Kuna watu
27.
Kuna watu walilipa school fees juu ya David Ogot.
27 years?
Yes. Start
and
to
what
stop.
made you stop?
Nikisema ukweli ni Mungu. Because what happened, me I used to disappear. 4 days, 5 days. I go to Mombasa. How? I had gone to town. Nakunywa Latema Road nearby here. Modern Green, MG. Guys are booked, they are going to Mombasa, jioni. So they enter, wanakunywa kingoja basi ya saa 4. Me, I'm playing my guitar, stupid songs. I wish you were coming with us. I said, see me, I can come. But you don't have clothes, nini, what? Mombasa is hot, I'll buy t-shirt. They go, they book me a ticket. Na nyumbani, they know I went to town. This was 5 days ago. Now, I end in Mombasa. We arrived at 4. These guys, they'll buy 1 or 2 beers. Ikisha kuja mornings, they are going shughuli zao. I am in Mombasa with no money, just a guitar. The guitar will bring money. Then, there was a day now I had drunk for 4 days. I went home, I told my wife, let's go to the local bar, stay in Langata. Home pub, still there. I signed the register. So I told her, if you are with me, sit a car. I just want to stay kidogo, we signed register to Rudy. The DJ was not there. I ended up DJing up to morning. Of course, being given money, apewe, zingine na badilisha. Now, coming back to the house, I'm trying to think, imagine, I've been out 4 days. Now this is day 5. Though I'm with madam. Now I'm trying to think, now I've got money. Do I go back to town niendele? Ama ningia nioge kwanza ndio niende? That was what I was thinking. When I entered that house, the words which came out of my mouth, I told my wife, usingie kitanda, we are going rehab.
Wow.
By him stopping, kuna mtu alifutwa kazi kwa kampuni ya pombe. Isn't it inaitwaje, isn't it justifiable for some people to drink to sustain the economy?
You know, there's something he said, there's alcohol and there's alcoholism. There are cultures whereby ideally ukikumaliza food unakunywa kabia kamoja kako, wanasemanga inasaidia digestion. But when it gets to a point where there's David Ogot A and David Ogot B, and David Ogot B is overriding the normal David Ogot A, hapo kuna shida.
So
and it's not even about the economy. I always say, when you're dealing with issues, because the economy has to run. ukikuja leo upatiwe sahani tuseme ya plastic, it is for you to decide, do I need this plastic? Can I microwave it? What are the effects on my health?
Okay.
This life is yours, and that's why you're called Dr. Kingori. Okay. Me, I have my own life. He has his own life. So at the end of the day, I love what he said. Alikuja kaambia wife yake, leo tunaenda rehab. And alifika mahali akasema, I am not topping up. That is what we call willpower. Okay. Hakuna mtu atakutoa kwa ulevi. Hata rehab. I've seen people go to rehabs, they relapse. I've seen people go for prayers, they still go back to that drink. Because that drink is you know what he said? The part B that controls your part A. But the day you choose to rise above this control, I'm telling you, hakuna mtu atakurudisha nyuma.
When you decided that you're actually quitting, why did you have to go to the rehab? Si umedecide, kwani ujiamini?
Rehab will not make you sober.
Okay.
The only human being you can change, addict or otherwise, is yourself. My counseling program, addiction counseling program, it was SATCAT. SATCAT simply means set a thief to catch a thief. Meaning 5-star retired conman, na kuna 6 stars. 5-star ndio highest. Unakumbuka stories za Wengbeng, Indian and other places.
Yes.
Now, when we say if you go to a doctor and you are sick, uambiwe meza hii 3 times a day for 1 week. Unameza for 2 days, unasikia nafuu, you throw the rest. Shida ni daktari ama ni wewe? Si ni wewe?
Yes.
Same with rehab. There is a program to be followed. And me, I come from the school of alcoholism is a disease. And even the president, Uhuru Kenyatta, declared it a disease. So to paraphrase Mutahi Kagwe, if the president can get it, I can get it, you can get it. Now, if you are told, follow these steps, and then you follow, because much as we are saying, I went. When I arrived, I was so finished for almost 3-4 days, sitoki kwa room. Just toilet, back, vitu supi na pilipili. Now I go for my first meeting.
Sasa ni makali herbal.
Unajua watu wa pombe tumezoea pilipili, nyama choma, soup na pilipili. Ile soup, ile mteta na pilipili.
Yes. Yes.
So now you find people sitting, they are told this is a new fellow. Can we introduce ourselves before he does the same? So nasikia I'm John, I'm an addict. So me, I said, hey. So when it was my turn, I said, I'm David from Nairobi. I'm here for 1 week to be taught how to drink like a gentleman. So that I drink, but I don't spend my kids' fees. I drink, but I don't spend the house rent. Then I'll go back to Nairobi and I'll pray for you guys, but I'm not like you. You see, I've taken myself.
Yes.
Apparently.
Set a thief to catch a thief. Thank you for clarifying that. Nilikuwa nafikiria walikuitia Joe Mushiri. Na David, final word ya vile watu wanaweza kukupata, how you can help, alafu Venus, tufunge hii story.
I'll comment on, you cannot solve a problem if you don't know what the problem is. Learn what is addiction. Okay? Once you know what the problem is, then you now know how to approach them. And helping an addict is more of what you should not do than what you should do.
Well said, well said. Personally, I go by the name The Mind Spa. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. You can just search for me. I do videos a lot. If anyone wants to be empowered through my videos, I'm on YouTube as well. But for those who need help, if you're out there and you're struggling, you can reach me on 0722 816167 or 0777 816177.
Time ni kidogo najua, but we can extend this conversation to Nation FM 96.3 from 10 to 11 on Monday. Asanteni sana for joining us for this, na asanteni sana, by the way, I didn't mention this, you're both here back, you're back here due to public demand. Wow. But that's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori.